Aanbeveling. Beloof het nu vandaag, beloof het nu voor mij, terwijl de zon daarboven staat, precies nu in het zenith. Beloof het mij, net zoals zij je neerslaan met bergen van haat en van geweld. Net zoals zij je leven trappen en verpletteren, zoals een worm. Net zoals zij je leden afhakken, je ingewanden uitrukken. Herinner je, mijn broer, herinner je, de mens is niet ons vijand.
People who are dying every day. People who are killing each other. Communists, anti-communists, involvement of Russia and China in the war, the involvement of Americans in the war. You know the word despair? It's horrible, despair. Despair is the worst that can happen to a human being. It did not seem that there was hope because the war had been dragging on and on and on and on and on. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. And when I was asked the question, I had to practice mindful breathing and going back to my true home, the island of self. And finally, very calmly, I said, my dear friends, the Buddha said that everything is impermanent. Nothing can stay there forever. The war also is impermanent. The war should end sometime.
Op zijn 16e werd Thai, zoals studenten en vrienden hem noemen, een boeddhistische monnik in Vietnam. Op de slagvelden tijdens de oorlog bood hij al hulp waar hij kon. Maar na zijn verbanning in 1966 begon hij zich wereldwijd voor de vrede in te zetten. Vanuit Plum Village, een klooster- en meditatiegemeenschap aan de rand van de Dordogne, onderwijst de zenleraar, schrijver en vredesactivist de praktijk van leven in aandacht.
His name is Isaac. He come here with about 20 friends and asked me to intervene so that we can have a visa for them to go to France. So finally I have to call the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Paris in order to intervene. And then I don't know anyone, but I think that guided by God or by Allah or by Buddha, I just fell into a right person who interested. And I explained, and they said, "Oh, I'm so interested. There are Palestinians who work for peace like that. We are very impressed, and we want to support." First, I thought that you have the ticket and the visa, you go. But in fact, no Palestinians are allowed to go to Tel Aviv airport. So they have to go by Jordani. And I said that, oh, Jordani, friendly country, they can go. But it's not so. So it takes a number of them can go and obtain the visa from Jordani to go to the airport of Jordani. But quite a number have to wait Monday and Tuesday in order to obtain the visa. But Isaac just tell me the story is there. It's very shocking. He worked for peace. But then one day he stand in front of his house. An Israeli soldier shoot him. Please tell your story. And I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that a peace worker could happen something.
Israel im tishma li lo hiye bacha el zar lo tashcha le el nechar anochi Adonai Elohecha melech eretz Mitzrayim chalev. I live in Jerusalem, and the conflict definitely has direct effect on me in my daily life. I have been close to a number of bombs that have gone off. I've lost many friends. and several friends in the violence. And that affects me to dedicate my life more to understanding and reconciliation, because the Holy Land is holy to the whole world, and now it is seen as a place of war and conflict, and we hope to return it to its true purpose, to be the land of peace and the land of reconciliation. And I belong to a group of people who we call Rodfei Shalom, people who are working towards peace. And many of the peace activists are very burnt out and exhausted. And so specifically we come from Jerusalem to Plum Village to get spiritually renewed and to learn about inner peace. Because if we're working for outer peace, like Thai says, and we have no inner peace, then we don't have anything to give and anything to offer.
I don't understand why and how privilege has become possible. We don't believe that we have enough talent and intelligence to create something like this. We refer all the merits to our ancestors. They have arranged everything. We have done nothing. We just enjoy practicing. You know that the Upper Hamlet, the little world close to the dining hall, was a place where Germans, they had put many people against that and shot them dead because they suspected that these French people, they belong to the resistance movement. And not very far from that, in a internet, there was a church. They put many hundred of people there, and they burned the church. So the people were burned alive. So the energy was very, very heavy, very, very negative when we came. But during 22 years, we practiced touching the earth with our feet, with compassion, with mindfulness. We practiced sitting meditation. We practice protecting trees and animals. And people of 30, 40 countries came here every year. A lot of them were German. And the German come to Plum Ridge with our guns like before. And they practice very wholeheartedly.
Ik ben ruim 2,5 jaar geleden voor het eerst hier terechtgekomen. Ik was eigenlijk op doorreis naar Peru toe. Ik zou hier 10 dagen blijven. En ik ben nooit meer weggegaan.
We have about 3 or 4 ordination a year. Sometimes the ordination has about more than 10 people. So sometimes we have like 30 or 40 more people a year ordaining in 1 year with us. So our community is growing every year.
Ik heb internationaal management gestudeerd en heel snel kwam ik in de maalstroom terecht en stapte ik gewoon de wereld van de carrière binnen. En na een jaar of 5, 6 dacht ik van ja, het is eigenlijk allemaal goed, weet je. Ik heb een leuk huis en leuke vrienden en een leuke baan, een leuke omgeving. En toch was er een soort van leegte van ja, dat kan niet zijn waar het over gaat, er moet meer zijn. Al een aantal maal zijn natuurlijk groepen Israëliërs en Palestijnen hier geweest om met elkaar te oefenen. En ik denk wat heel erg mooi is en wat ook heel belangrijk is dat er op een bepaalde manier ondersteuning geboden wordt aan ze en laat zien dat het ook anders kan.
The first truth is suffering is there. Anger, fear, craving, discrimination, hate. These things are there. Whether you are a Jew or a Christian or a Buddhist or a communist, you have to recognize that truth. The truth is not something that you can expect to have in the future. The truth is there in the here and the now. And with some mindfulness and concentration, you can get in touch with the truth. There are people sitting or standing in the situation of suffering, but who are able to smile with compassion and understanding.
On 15 May 2001, I exit from my home to keep our children from the gas, tear gas, which the Israeli soldiers thrown all the time for our houses. When they saw me, they started the automatic fire. I think that the 2 or the 3 was shooting me and falling down. I'm trying to stand up. I cannot, because the bullet entered from my right shoulders through the lungs and exploded in the spinal cord and in my back. So it was a dum-dum bullet, called a dum-dum bullet. It's exploded, not just enter and exit, it's exploded inside. It's caused for me paralyzed, tetraplegia. I lost feeling, I lost movements. So he came and started to hurt me by his leg. Stand up. With Hebrew, it's kum. I am looking for him, and I told him that I haven't anything to stand on. All my brothers and my father and my family shouting to helping me to the soldiers, and he didn't allow for anyone to come and to help me or to bring me to the hospital. I told the soldiers, be humanity and let the other to helping me, because I'm going to die. And then I don't know what's happening, because I'm
lost consciousness.
Yeah, lost, exactly.
I practice breathing in and out, and I look out and I see the morning with the sunshine. I practice breathing in. I'm aware of the beautiful morning. Breathing out, we smile to the morning. But you are all sitting there and looking at in this direction. You don't see the sunshine. You didn't see the morning. And if you look at me deeply, you see the morning in me.
So we go.
أنا فلسطينية اللي ساكنة بإسرائيل. إسرائيل دولة ديمقراطية اللي لازم تعاملني زي ما بتعامل كل إسرائيلي. بشتغل بمهنة اللي هي قمة الإنسانية. يعني أنا ممرضة حاملة رسالة الإنسانية، وهناك بالمستشفى يعني ما بقعد أفكر الصبح إذا بدي أقعد أعالج اليهودي ولا العربي، بعالجهم كلهم. أنا ما باجي هناك بفكر إذا اليهودي هو العدو تبعي ولا العربي هو اللي بصفي. العدو تبعي الوحيد هو الجرثومة أو الفيروس.
when I speak with many Palestinians, they say, who is the real enemy? It's not Sharon or it's not Arafat, but it's the shaitan. The shaitan is like the negative thinking. The devil, and in Thai's terms, that would be the seeds of anger, the seeds of fear, the seeds of discrimination, of prejudice. And those are the things that are destroying both of us from within.
But we think and we believe that the main action is the occupation. And what's happening either is the reactions for the occupation. If we want to stop our suffering, our and the Israeli, we must stop the occupation. We must make the end of the occupation. This is a first step.
For 40 years. You've been trying to stop, you and us have been trying to stop the occupation for 40 years, and we haven't succeeded. What they're offering here is something different. Maybe we should try something different.
Excuse me, I agree with you. We're given a chance for 10 years with the Oslo Agreement. Both of us are victims for ultra-right policies in Israel.
It's not just about policies of the ultra-right, it's about fear and anger and despair, which is everybody is experiencing.
Yeah.
Everybody.
What caused the fear and the anger? It's the occupation.
I think you have to add the suicide bombings. If you want to be fair and you want to talk about both things that are going on, I agree with you that the occupation is a problem and the settlements are a problem and the wall is a problem and the suicide bombings are a problem.
I agree with you.
اوكي اسرائيل في عندها صح زي ما احنا حكينا انه اسرائيل عندها دعم امريكي وفلسطين هي شعب اللي عم بحارب من حاله يعني بوسائل كتير بسيطة.
Also the main problem in the Israeli brain that they want the land, they want the peace, without the Palestinian people, and it's so difficult to get all these things, land, peace, together. It's so difficult.
Yes, I agree that arrogance is a source of the problem and exclusive claim to that land. We have two peoples, Israelis and Palestinians. God chose us to live together, Arabs and Jews, in that land. We have no choice. We're both there. No one is leaving. So I agree. We must find a way to live together.
If you meet each other on the first and the second day and try to set up a dialogue on politics, you will fail completely right in the beginning. And that is why peace talks organized by the White House don't work. They don't know how to do the things we do in Plymouth. To help people to discover each other as human beings with suffering. Buddhism was very old when I grew up as a youngster. And yet I had the belief that if we can renew Buddhism, we can help many people. That is because I had learned in history that there were periods of time in history that Buddhism was able to help to restore peace and to reconcile. And it's my conviction that if Buddhism could do that in the past, it can do that in the present moment if we know how to renew Buddhism, to make it a living tradition again. And you know that in Plum Village we are interested in many kinds of efforts to help the people who suffer. We are helping with hungry children in countries like Vietnam. We are helping all the aged people. Many prisoners in Europe and in America are practicing breathing in and out and taking care of the anger, frustration. We send them books. We send teachers. We have organized retreats for psychotherapists and another one for environmentalists and peacemakers, school teachers, parents, movie actors, filmmakers, film producers, war veterans, many times in many countries.
The deep relaxation is based on the teaching of the Buddha, mindfulness on our body. First exercise. I lie down on my back and I close my eyes. I let go everything, not only let go the tension in my body, but I let go all the thinking. My heart works day and night for my well-being, yet I pay rarely attention to my heart. You are so rich. Please don't behave like a poor beggar of happiness.
Ich fand es zum Beispiel heute mit der Tiefenentspannung sehr, sehr schön. Das war sehr getragen von Liebe. So, und das habe ich auch gemerkt, wie sich das körperlich anfühlt, wie das so tiefe Schichten erreicht und so, als wenn wirklich so Zellklumpen sich lösen, also sich das lockert. Das fand ich schon, war ich sehr dankbar für. Sehr viel Liebe so und Leichtigkeit und Licht. So, das ist so. Und gleichzeitig so wunderbar normal. Das finde ich so herrlich.
We are enjoying Christian Bell because the practice in Plum Village that in each of us we have a Buddha nature in us. We have the reality of understanding and love in us. If you are Christian, you can think that the reality of God in you. But Buddhists, we think that that Buddha nature, we need to be in touch in order to make it manifest. But we usually forget. So every time there is a sound of the bell, we stop. We enjoy the present moment and then look deeper and be in touch with what is understanding, love, compassion.
The seat of hell is in us, but the seat of paradise is also in us. During the time of the storm, you look through your window and you might see that if you look at the top of the tree, you might have the impression that the tree is so fragile and the tree could be blown away by the wind. During the time of the storm, during the time the emotion is taking hold of us, we should not stay on the level of the top. We have to bring our attention down to the level of the trunk. Don't stay in this level, the level of the mind, because that is where you imagine, you think. This is not the time for thinking or imagining. You are requested after leaving this place, after the walking meditation, to go home in silence, just enjoy your breathing in and out. You are requested to use the train, car, in mindfulness. Enjoy your breathing, and every time you stop at the red light, look at it and smile.
We try to practice as a river where there are the current coming from your blood family. Your mother is a drop of water, your father is another drop, your ancestor blood family several drops of water, you are one drop. And if you have a lot of success, you don't feel so proud because you are only a drop of water, and on your drop of water go very high like that, you think that you are great. But in fact, many hidden waves coming from your ancestor arrive to you and make you very high. But it's also help in the case that you try on your best, you do good work, but you have only very mediocre result. And then you feel that, oh, it's unfair. If there is God, God is unfair to me. But in fact, you do not look deep, because you are only a drop of water, but all the negative energy comes so down. But everything I have done great will bring fruit for the future generation. So I have no complaint. I said that never mind, I continue to do good work. I will not receive the fruit today, but in 10 years or maybe in 100 years, the young generation will profit of what I have done.
Being able to get Thich Nhat Hanh to deliver this lecture this year is a very special thing for us. And then the retreat, to have that many members of Congress taking 3 days, the way they're used to taking no longer than 3 minutes a lot of times, is at least a good step.
Good morning. The practice of mindfulness can restore peace, release tension, conflict in the body, in the feelings, in the emotions of the politician, help them to relate better to their family, and help them to communicate better with their people, their own people, help them to create more mutual understanding between them and those who have voted for them. And that kind of insight can help bring the kind of decision that is good for the whole country. Everyone can do it, and not just by a talk, but by just doing it practically.
This is the famous dome over the Capitol, and it's actually cast iron. As the building got bigger, the dome needed to get bigger. So the dome is now much higher than it originally was, built over top of the original dome. Our offices are these buildings here. There are 3 office buildings right across the way there. If we carry pagers, then it will say beep, beep, and then always it goes like this. Attention all members, you have 15 minutes to vote on H.R. 453. The bill. So at that moment, bells go off, and people just flood out of those buildings and run over here and run up the steps. And most of us get there on time. And then always there's people running at the last minute and people at the door yell, "One more!" And that means hold the vote, don't vote.
I have had a Zen Buddhist practice for 25 years. And I was raised Jewish. And the Buddhist part of me is so proud to be able to participate. The Jewish part is not thrilled that I'm working for free right now. And the magic of Thich Nhat Hanh. He talks so directly to human suffering and the pain, and he is not dated as much as I have, so he doesn't know real suffering.
I mentioned to think of the place as a work of art, and it's also historical. So here the art represents much of the history. So here, for example, are two paintings that illustrate that. This picture here portrays the burning of the capital. We went up north to Canada and burned their capital, and they came down here and burned our capital.
Watching over me, each one, and let me cry and cry till I was done.
Correspondent Rick Leventhal, who was on the scene that day, says the nation is geared to move, and all New Yorkers in a moment of silence.
The stresses that people in government face, especially today with the situation internationally, are profound. And one needs to find a way to reconnect with who you are inside.
Could you speak to us, especially on this occasion, the anniversary of September 11th, about anger?
To me, during the last 2 years, America has not been able to decrease the level of hate and violence on the part of the terrorists. In fact, that level of hate and violence has increased. That is why it's time for us to go back to the situation and look deeply and to find another way, which is less costly and bring peace to us and to them. Violence cannot remove violence. During the Vietnam War, America thought that they had to go to North Vietnam to bomb, they had to go to Cambodia to bomb. But finally, the more they bomb, the more Americans bomb, the more communists they created. And that is why I'm afraid that the same thing is repeating itself in Iraq. It's very difficult for America to withdraw now from Iraq. My right hand, has written all the poems that I composed. My left hand has not written any poem, but my right hand does not think that you left hand you are good for nothing. My right hand does not have the complex of superiority at all. That is why it is very happy. And my left hand does not have any complex at all, including the complex of inferiority. So in my two hands, there is a kind of wisdom called wisdom of non-discrimination. And when one day I remember I was driving a nail, and my right hand was not very firm. Instead of pounding on the nail, it pounded on the finger. It put the hammer down, and it took care of the right and left hand in a very tender way, as if it takes care of itself. And my left hand does not say like this. The right hand has done me a lot of harm. Give me that hammer. I will. I want justice. Because the two hands know that they are together, they are in each other's. And I think if Israelis, Palestinians know that they are brothers, that they are like two hands, they would not try to punish each other anymore. And the world community has not helped them to see that. And Muslims and Hindus also, if they know that discrimination is at the base of our suffering, they would know how to touch the seed of non-discrimination in them. That kind of awakening, that kind of deep understanding will bring about reconciliation and well-being.
Arafat led the crowd in a chant of "To Jerusalem," meaning the struggle will continue to Jerusalem.
Sean and me, I just want to let you know I love you, and I'm sorry there's so many in New York.
Fields burning between Christians and church at the Don't Fire, and I can't breathe.
Show this to fire with my prayer. I love you too. I'm going to love you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take it. I love you so much.
In this retreat for congressmen and women, the organizers do not want to have any camera in that. I think that maybe because the organizer anticipate in the way that congressmen don't feel safe if all the thing they share will be under the press. And in this country there is many scandal, and you never know. Journalists can say that, that congressman, they fight each other with their wife, and it's not good.
Can I have only that? Because I'm vegetarian.
President Bush and the Secretary of Defense, they are the product of the American collective thinking. If the collective thinking changes, they will change. And that is why awakening is the business of everyone. If you get the insight, you can help another citizen, another friend, another brother or sister get insight. And everyone can help produce that kind of collective insight. If you are a journalist, you can practice looking deeply, and as a journalist, you can help many people to wake up. If you are a filmmaker, you can do the same thing. If you are a journalist, a writer, a poet, or a school teacher, you can also participate in bringing into existence that kind of collective awakening that will transform everything.
The personal presence of a man like Thich Nhat Hanh, you could feel just when he was in the room that something was different this weekend. He really focused on the walking meditation, which is really just a signal to say you can do this no matter what you're doing. If you're walking, if you're working, focus on your breath, and that'll kick you into the present moment. And yeah, I did it at the airport. I did it when I was just walking up the stairs. I have arrived, I'm home, I've arrived, I'm home, I've arrived, I'm home. It's great mind training.
His way of approaching things, of having people get in touch with themselves, try to make sure that they're in touch with their inner self. And this is a message he spreads to every person. It can work in the Congress, it can work in Iraq, it can work in Vietnam where there was conflict when he was a novice monk. It's a strong message that he gives. It starts with the individual. I think one of my heroes, a person by the name of Bobby Kennedy, said that if you drop one pebble into a pool and you get a small little ripple, and that's like an individual doing something. But if that impacts others and it grows and grows and then turns into a tidal wave, and then that tidal wave sweeps away things like poverty and war and destruction.
Do we do enough to listen to the pain of others, the strengths of others, the needs of others? Probably not in either case. In other words, probably we don't examine our own policies domestically or internationally to see if they're fully consistent with our deepest values. And I think we probably don't ask ourselves often enough about the suffering of the rest of the world and how we can be part of reducing that. I've always felt if we did more of those kinds of things, we could reduce the likelihood of September 11th's happening. That's not to justify what was done on September 11th in any way, nor is it to oversimplify it. It is possible that we will do our level best to find our own truths and peace inside, and we'll still encounter people who don't share that value and have to deal with that.
The problem isn't at the level that it seems. It's not what we think it is. It is a few levels down. And so his teaching is to look deeply at the problem, to hold it and to think about it and reason it out and figure out what the real problem is. And the seeds of anger and hate that we see all throughout the world right now. Terrorism is a symptom. Terrorism is not the reason. And what we need to do is get past the terrorism as to why do these two particular groups of people really hate each other. And once we start addressing that issue, I think we'll be better off and we'll live in a more peaceful world.
When I see the great pain that spreads over the world, I shall still be smiling with tears in my eyes, smiling to life, smiling to death. And one day will come I have seen that many brothers and sisters who are born in the West, they do not know what means running under the bomb like me. They too, under the constant fear of death, of danger, of assassination, murder, bomb, Thai used to say that you have to become a Palestinian Buddha, a Jew Buddha, in order to help your country. But you have many thousand years of culture, of knowledge of your ancestors who transmit to you. And this is the aim of this retreat, is we'll offer to them a number of tools for them to transform their difficulty, to restore the clarity, the lucidity of their mind, to look deep, to understand deeply in order to resolve with compassion, with understanding the situation of this part of the planet.
Israel is for Arab and Jew, and with different religion. And this is maybe the time, because this is our choice, the Volk choice, not the political choice, to live with each other. Because in this country we are not like Iraq. The Americans came to Iraq. Yes, we can shake them back to America, but we cannot do the same thing with the Jew. So we must live together. I love my country. I love my homeland. And I want to stay there.
And I wanted to tell you the story about Kobe earlier. And I could feel, the tears starting. And I knew I needed to hold somebody's hand. And Nazik, who I just met. But she was sitting there and I felt totally comfortable saying, will you hold my hand? And she did. And I thought, wow, it's so ironic and it's so great. So that gives me hope.
I try. Okay, give me 5 minutes. I have a friend, a very good friend. Her name is Sherry, and she had 4 children. And one day, I'm really sorry. One day, her oldest son, who was 13, didn't come home from school. And she found out that he was with a friend, also 13, and he didn't come home in the evening, and he didn't come home in the night, and she wasn't worried. Neighbors filled her house, and finally about, I think, 10 or 11, they called the police. And all night, people were looking for the boys, and nobody could find them. And about 6 o'clock in the morning, they discovered their bodies.
Of the boy?
The 2 boys in a cave. And they couldn't recognize, they took the father to identify the body, and he couldn't identify the body. They had to get teeth x-rays.
To extract the teeth of the boys?
No, they had to get x-rays from the dentist to identify the body.
I see.
Because it was smashed.
Smashed?
Yeah.
And
the boys were killed with big boulders. Big rocks that were just smashed. And the people who killed them, the Palestinians who killed them, took the blood and painted the walls of the cave with their blood. So my friend and her husband decided that what they had to do from this tragedy was 2 things. They had to grow, and they had to replace the good that their son would have done in the world that he couldn't do now because he was killed.
And if you think of your son in the future, how do you feel? What I see at this moment is that you hold your breath.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
It's
Is it
mean
literally you're
to-
holding
it's-
your breath?
I think that his future will be sadness future. Maybe he will fond of his father because my history would be full action for peace, and I think so that who have a father like believed in peace forever and for everybody and everywhere, he should fund on.
It's really nice. You're so courageous to be here.
I have arrived. I am home. Is your practice to survive. It's not a luxury. If you cannot be yourself, if you don't know how to handle the fear, the despair, the anger in you, you are lost. You cannot help any other people. You cannot help your people. You cannot help your country. Can you help Mr. Arafat as a person? Can you help Mr. Arafat as a group? Are you solid enough? Do you have enough understanding, solidity, compassion to help him? He needs your help. And if you can practice as a Sangha, as a group of people, if you can express your wisdom, your understanding, your compassion, you'll be a very important element in the peace process. You have to support Mr. Arafat. He may be very lonely. Mr. Sharon also, because the seed of understanding, the seed of wisdom is there in everyone. Everyone knows that the escalation of violence will lead nowhere. Everyone knows, and yet in reality, the escalation of violence continues.
One of the Israelis here went up to one of the Palestinians and said that she wanted to apologize to him for all the suffering that had been caused to the Palestinians by the Israelis. And he was very moved by that. And he said, you know, before any peace can happen, first the Israelis have to acknowledge the suffering of the Palestinians. So, and this is a woman who, starting from 1929 until today, has lost many, many members of her family to this conflict. And so Thich Nhat Hanh says that each side has to recognize the suffering of the other side. Now, if that could happen, that would be a huge step forward.
I hope that my group here, especially the Jew group, when we are going home back, I want to invite them to go to Ramallah or Bethlehem and to make a walking meditation. Where is the checkpoint? As we said always, there is no way to the peace. The peace is the way.
You know, people thought of me as a Buddhist because I wear a Buddhist robe. They have a lot of wrong perception on Buddhism. And yet, we are able to teach police officers to practice. We have been able to help members of the parliament in Washington to practice. We have been able to go to the prisons and help to practice. My life is my message. I present myself as a human being with all my suffering. They could see me without these layers of ideologies and doctrines and ideas and politics. How wonderful is the robe of a nun.
How wonderful is the robe of a nun.
A field of precious seeds.
A field of precious seeds.
I bow my head to receive it today.
I bow my head to receive it today.
And wear it life after life.
And wear it life after life.
Are you sure? Thai die stelt die eigenlijk heel erg vaak. En is ook een vraag die we allemaal altijd bij ons hebben. En dat is de vraag, are you sure? Dus weet je het wel zeker? En dat stelt hij over alles. Maar waarmee ook hij eigenlijk bedoelt, of zoals ik begrijp, denk ik dat hij het bedoelt. Is van dat we ons soms heel erg vastgrijpen in van zo is het en niet anders. En dan laten we op geen enkele andere manier meer de flexibiliteit toe om het iets anders te kunnen laten zijn.
To transform all my afflictions.
And bring happiness to all beings.
And bring happiness to all beings.
Weet je het wel zeker, brengt eigenlijk de flexibiliteit voor mij eigenlijk als het ware de rust om het open te laten wezen. En ja, weet je het wel zeker? Op dit moment weet ik het heel erg zeker. Maar je treedt in voor leven.
I wash my hair with the shampoo. Now I wash my hair with the water of compassion.
You have to be free from Buddhism in order to be a good Buddhist. And our patriarch Linchi said that when you meet the Buddha, you have to kill him. In order for you to be free.
You know, sometimes it's a stupid question when we ask her about religion, because everybody for us must say, I am Muslim, Sunnah and Shia. I am Christian, Catholic, Protestant, Orthodox. I am Jew, Holani, Haredi. This is religious and not religious. I am Buddhist, I am Confucius, I'm everything. I am a peaceful one.
DVD's bestellen van onze programma's? Bel 040 282 0022. Wilt u meer weten over onze uitzendingen? Vraag dan nu de gratis programmagids aan. Bel 035 629 3191 of kijk op www.boeddhistischeomroep.nl.